Hey YouTube, how's it going? So today I'm going to talk about my first day in prison. Now, I'm going to skip over to Drumheller because technically my first day in prison was at the Remand Center. But I'm not going to count that because I was only there for 1 fucking week, okay? But if you guys do want me to talk about it, all I can say is this. It sucks. And imagine the scenery at 60 Days In, the TV show. That's what it looks like, right? But man, it's the most boring place that I've ever been in. Like, I always talk about how boring prison is, but this place is beyond boring. This is like punishment for the punishments. Yeah. If I had to go back and choose to stay in the Remand Center for 10 months or to go to Drumheller for 10 months, I would rather be in Drumheller. Because in Drumheller, there's actually so much more room to walk around. You get more freedom, and the guards are so much nicer. In the Remand Center, they treat us like assholes, you know? They treat us like we're fucking garbage. All they're doing is yelling at us all day, telling us how worthless we are. It's horrible, you know? Like, I can see why they're angry little shits, though. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that go in and out of the Remand that are just annoying. And a lot of them are just fed up with it. But that's no way to start treating us, the rest of us, like shit, you know? But yeah, that's what the Remand was like. But anyways, skipping over to Drumheller, you know, it took me 3.5 hours to drive there, right? And how they bring you there is they put you into a truck with a few other inmates. And in this truck, we're forced to sit on metal seats. Very uncomfortable. We're shackled from feet up to our hands. It's very easy to you know, get scrape marks because the handcuffs are pretty tight. Most painful ride that I've ever been in, that's for sure, right? But yeah, we finally get there. We all stand against the wall. They bring in a dog, right? This lady though who handles that dog, she was fucking hot. Oh my god, very, very hot. Fuck, I'm sipping for her hard right now. But yeah, she's hot, okay? Anyways, yeah, she had a nice ass. Fuck. Oh yeah, so the dog sniffs us, right? Sniffs our assholes to see if we stuck anything inside there. We didn't, right? We're all good. We're all forced to wear blue jumpsuits temporarily just to take a picture for our inmate IDs. And then we take it all off after, and you know, we put our regular clothes back on. We get our hands scanned for our canteen money. Yeah, it's a new thing that's there. I thought it was pretty odd, you know, but instead of carrying cash on ourselves or anything like that, they keep track of our cash with our fingerprints, right? That's how we access our prison bank accounts when we're trying to buy shit there. It's a little complicated to learn at first because, you know, you put your hand in there like this, right? And then just scans your hand or whatever. And it took me a few tries when I first used it. I remember one of the guys who was running the fucking candy shop. He's like, "Hurry the fuck up! Put your hand in like this." And then I'm like this? No, like this, right? And fuck, I started panicking. But I eventually got it right, and yeah, you know, bought my Cheetos and shit. But I think I'm scrolling a bit too far ahead, right? So we're still in the office where we're getting processed, and right after, each of us has to go meet our parole officer, right? And when I was talking to my parole officer, she told me something very interesting. It didn't really make me happy to hear her say this. She's just like, on your first day here, you should expect to get manhandled for the $45 that we give you. And this $45, right, it's basically a cuff, you know. It's money that you can use on whatever you want. People usually use it on, you know, candy and chips, right? But you got to pay this back, and how you pay it back is they take it off your paycheck every 2 weeks that you get paid. Now, how you get paid is if you're not working, they just pay you $12 every 2 weeks. If you are working and you have a prison job, then they pay you $25. And depending on how long you've been an inmate there for, you get a small, tiny raise, right? I managed to get a raise from $25 to $32 when I was in Drumheller. It's pretty cool, not much, but hey, you know, you gotta buy your fair share of sweets. And that's probably how I got fat, because I bought so many Cheetos with that canteen money on top of the $7.50 that my family sent me too. Bought a lot of candy, man. And in Drumheller, they also have candy popcorn. I bought a lot of that too, right? Like candy popcorn in prison. Imagine that, you know? It was awesome. Unfortunately, when I went to Edmonton prison, they didn't have any of that shit, but still, you know, I made the best of what I had, right? But yeah, after I spoke to my parole officer and she told me that, I went to pick up my bed, my thin ass, tiny bed. It's so much smaller than a single bed, you know? And it's so thin that when you lay on it, if you're heavy enough, your body will mold through it onto the hard metal frame that you have, that you put your bed on, right? And I was 180 pounds, and I could feel my body go touch the metal from laying on the bed, you know? So all I can say is when you're sleeping in prison, it's gonna take a little time getting used to, especially if you're used to sleeping on soft surfaces, because during your time here, you ain't gonna be sleeping comfortably. I can tell you that. And the blankets they give you are very fucking thin, right? Most of your nights at first are gonna be pretty cold. So if you're the type who sleeps in layers, well, be ready, man. It's gonna suck for you, because it sucked for me, right? So yeah, that's the first part of it, right? I bring that bed to my unit 11, because they make you carry that shit all the way there, right? No one carries it for you, and it was a bit of a long walk too, about a kilometer long. But yeah, I make it to unit 11, and my range was B range, and usually before you walk into your area, you have to pass the bubble, which is where the guards all chill, right? And as soon as I walked past the bubble, the guard was like, "Hey Lamb, come here." I'm like, "Huh? Yeah, what's up?" And the guard told me, go to room 11 or 9 on B range, right? Tommy wants to talk to you. And I'm like, who the fuck's Tommy, right? But anyways, I go there, and I'm like, "Hey man, do I know you? Are you friends with one of my friends?" And he's like, "Nah man, you know, I just think that us Asians should stick together, right?" And I was confused at first. I was actually a little flattered, because I was just like, man, it's my first day here, and someone who has pull is talking to me, right? But no, he didn't have pull. He just knew the guards because he was one of the unit cleaners, and so I guess he just told the guard that whatever Asians are coming to this unit, send them my way, right? That's basically what happened. But yeah, I become friends with Tommy, and he introduces me to his friend Steve, and you know, they took really good care of me. Like, that's how I quickly learned how to behave in prison, right? That's what you guys are going to go through too. You know, when you first get there, you're going to have a lot of people introduce themselves to you, and from there on, you're going to have to choose on who you want to hang out with. Because after I met Tommy, I met some other guys too who told me to sit with them during lunch and breakfast and shit, right? And if I chose to sit with them, my life would have been different in prison than what it turned out to be later on. Because some of the guys who told me to sit with them were gang members, right? And so if I actually hung out with them, I would have ended up doing some pretty bad shit, you know? It's bound to happen, right? But luckily, I chilled out with a crowd who just did their time quietly, watched TV, worked out, and, you know, fucked around, right? And yeah, I'm pretty sure though, if I wasn't Asian, Tommy wouldn't have talked to me. So I was pretty lucky. And unfortunately, after Tommy left to go to a minimum prison 3 weeks after I met him. But luckily, I still had Steve, and we became close friends, and you know, hung out with him for my entire time there until I eventually left too. But yeah, you know, that's pretty much my first day in prison. It's nothing too exciting. You know, like people look intimidating when you get there, but if you think about it, most of those guys are normal, you know, and they're just other guys who made mistakes like you did. If it wasn't for their crimes, you wouldn't be able to tell if they were criminals or not, right? But the fact that we were in prison, you know, it's a dead-on indicator that we're all criminals. Blah blah blah. But most of them were pretty normal dudes that I could get along with. Others are fucking crazy, you know, like some of the gang members, man. Like all they know how to do is like bully and violence, but you know, they're not all bad too, because I actually even got along with some of the gang members too, right? And most of them are pretty normal guys as well, right? It's just like society, you know, you're gonna have your fair share of narcissists and crazy fucks, right? But that's just life, whatever. But yeah, that's prison. I can honestly say every other day was the same, you know, crossing off the calendar, one day of the calendar each day until I got released. But yeah, see ya.